Picture this. You're standing at the airport, suitcase in hand, boarding pass ready, and a smile on your face. You've planned this trip for months. You've triple-checked your passport, your wallet, your phone. You feel prepared, confident. But before you even reach your gate, you've lost $300. Not through some shady scammer lurking in the terminal. Not through a pickpocket slipping a hand into your bag. No, the truth is much scarier. You lost that money because of the airport itself. Every single day, travelers are blindsided by hidden rules, last-minute charges, and strict regulations they never saw coming. TSA agents quietly confiscate hundreds of dollars in perfumes, electronics, and supplements. Airlines crack down with handheld baggage scales and slap passengers with surprise overweight fees at the gate. Customs officers hand out $300 fines for something as simple as an undeclared apple. And if you think you're immune because you've flown before, think again. Even the most seasoned road warriors get caught. These aren't rare events. They're traps built into the system. Mistakes that ordinary travelers make all the time. And they hurt. Not just your wallet, but your time, comfort, and sometimes even your dignity. Imagine standing in front of a line of strangers while an agent tosses your expensive belongings into a trash bin, or hearing that dreaded announcement, "Sir, your bag is overweight. You'll need to check it for $150. But here's the good news. These mistakes can be avoided if you know the rules. If you understand the hidden game airports and airlines are playing, you can outsmart the system. You can walk through security with confidence, board without panic, and land with your budget intact. That's what this video is about. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to expose the 10 most common airport mistakes that cost travelers hundreds of dollars every single day. Each one could easily happen to you. Each one comes with a fix. And if you stay with me to the very end, you'll learn the final mistake. The one that even seasoned business travelers keep falling for. So buckle up, because what you don't know about airports is exactly what's costing you the most. Think again. Even the most seasoned road warriors get caught. These aren't rare events. They're traps built into the system. Mistakes that ordinary travelers make all the time, and they hurt. Not just your wallet, but your time, comfort, and sometimes even your dignity. Imagine standing in front of a line of strangers while an agent tosses your expensive belongings into a trash bin. Or hearing that dreaded announcement, "Sir, your bag is overweight. You'll need to check it for $150. But here's the good news. These mistakes can be avoided if you know the rules. If you understand the hidden game airports and airlines are playing, you can outsmart the system. You can walk through security with confidence, board without panic, and land with your budget intact. That's what this video is about. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to expose the 10 most common airport mistakes that cost travelers hundreds of dollars every single day. Each one could easily happen to you. Each one comes with a fix. And if you stay with me to the very end, you'll learn the final mistake. The one that even seasoned business travelers keep falling for. So buckle up, because what you don't know about airports is exactly what's costing you the most. The carry-on crackdown. You've checked in online. You've printed your boarding pass. You've done everything right. You roll up to the gate with your trusty carry-on, the same one you've flown with a dozen times before. But this time, the agent stops you. They lift your bag onto a scale, glance at the numbers, and shake their head. "I'm sorry, sir. This bag is too heavy. You'll need to check it." And just like that, boom, you're hit with a $75 to $150 fee. This isn't some random stroke of bad luck. It's a trend. Airlines around the world have started cracking down on carry-on weight. Some carriers now enforce hidden limits as low as 15 to 22 pounds. And the worst part, they're not waiting until the check-in counter anymore. They're pulling out handheld baggage scales right at the boarding gate. Imagine the embarrassment. Dozens of passengers staring as you scramble to pull out shoes, laptops, or chargers, just tops, to make the wait. Why are airlines doing this? Simple. It's money. In an era where ticket prices look cheap on paper, airlines survive on hidden fees. That free carry-on they advertise. It comes with invisible strings. If they can push just a fraction of passengers into paying overweight fees or last-minute gate checks, they make millions every year. And the pressure works. Most people are too stressed, too rushed, embarrassed to argue. They just swipe their card and move on. But here's the fix. Don't wait for the gate. Take control at home. Invest in a $10 digital luggage scale and weigh your bag before you leave. Know the weight, know the weight, know the weight, know the weight. Rules and prepare a backup plan. Shift your heaviest items, like laptops, chargers, or even books, into your personal item. Airlines rarely weigh backpacks or handbags, and that extra space can be your secret weapon. Because here's the truth. The gate isn't where you want to learn this lesson. That's where you lose money. Home is where you win it. And even if your bag passes the weight test, don't relax just yet. Because the next mistake comes from something so small, so innocent. You wouldn't believe it could get you flagged. Your water bottle. That free carry-on they advertise. It comes with invisible strings. If they can push just a fraction of passengers into paying overweight fees or last-minute gate checks, they make millions every year. And the pressure works. Most people are too stressed, too rushed, too embarrassed to argue. They just swipe their card and move on. But here's the fix. Don't wait for the gate. Take control at home. Invest in a $10 digital luggage scale and weigh your bag before you leave. Know the weight, know the weight, know the weight. Know the rules and prepare a backup plan. Shift your heaviest items, like laptops, chargers, or even books, into your personal item. Airlines rarely weigh backpacks or handbags, and that extra space can be your secret weapon. Because here's the truth. The gate isn't where you want to learn this lesson. That's where you lose money. Home is where you win it. And even if your bag passes the weight test, don't relax just yet. Because the next mistake comes from something so small, so innocent, you wouldn't believe it could get you flagged. Your water bottle. The empty water bottle trap. Picture this. You're standing in the TSA line, feeling smart. You didn't make the rookie mistake of bringing a full bottle of water. Nope. You came prepared. You've got your sleek stainless steel hydro flask. Completely empty. You're ready to fill it up once you pass security. But as your bag rolls through the X-ray machine, the conveyor belt suddenly halts. An officer pulls it aside. They unzip your backpack, pull out your bottle, and frown. Now you're being questioned. Precious minutes are slipping away, and you're one step closer to missing your flight. So why does this happen? After all, the bottle was empty. The problem isn't liquid. It's the material. Stainless steel bottles show up on X-rays as solid, dense blocks. To the scanner, they look like an opaque mass that could be hiding anything. From explosives to weapons. And here's the kicker. If the officer can't confirm it's safe, you could lose that $30 to $50 bottle on the spot. The delay. Imagine everyone else in line glaring at you as TSA empties your bag, while your flight boarding time ticks closer and closer. The fix. Keep it simple. Swap the metal bottle for a clear collapsible plastic one. They're cheap, light, and show up perfectly on scanners. Or carry a slim silicone foldable bottle that takes almost no space when empty. Use the airport water fountains after security. And save the fancy hydro flask for later. Because here's the truth. At CA is not about what you know. It's about what their scanners can see. And if your innocent bottle can trigger all that chaos, imagine what happens when you pack powders. I've seen it happen, and it's not just about losing money. It's about the stress, the embarrassment, and the delay. Imagine everyone else in line glaring at you as TSA empties your bag, while your flight boarding time ticks closer and closer. The fix. Keep it simple. Swap the metal bottle for a clear collapsible plastic one. They're cheap, light, and show up perfectly on scanners. Or carry a slim silicone foldable bottle that takes almost no space when empty. Use the airport water, fountains after security, and save the fancy hydro flask for later. Because here's the truth. At TSA, it's not about what you know, it's about what their scanners can see. And if your innocent bottle can trigger all that chaos, imagine what happens when you pack powders. The 12-ounce powder rule. Picture this. You've just packed your carry-on with care. Nestled inside is a big tub of protein powder you rely on for workouts, or maybe a bag of baby formula your child absolutely needs on the trip. Perhaps it's even a pouch of finely ground coffee beans you're bringing as a gift. You feel prepared, but at security, the conveyor belt stops. An officer waves you aside. They unzip your bag, lift the container, and shake their head. Suddenly, your carefully packed item is no longer yours. It's being confiscated. The rule that catches so many travelers off guard is this. TSA flags any powder-like substance over 12 ounces. That's about the size of a soda can. Anything larger immediately triggers additional screening, and in many cases, it gets thrown away. Why? Because powders are notoriously difficult to identify on X-ray scans. Under those machines, your protein powder or coffee grounds can look disturbingly similar to explosives. For TSA, it's not worth the risk. And here's where the sting really hits. That $40 container of supplements, gone. The special imported coffee you bought for a friend, tossed. The baby formula you assumed was safe. It's now a stressful delay, with officers swabbing and testing it, while the clock to your boarding time keeps ticking. So, how do you avoid this trap? Break it down. If you need powders, divide them into smaller sealed bags or travel-sized tubs under 12 ounces each. Only pack what you'll realistically use. For sensitive items like formula, carry documentation and expect extra screening. But don't gamble on large containers, and when in doubt, buy it at your destination. It's cheaper than losing both your money and your peace of mind, because if powders can cause that much trouble, imagine what happens when the item isn't just suspicious, but expensive. That brings us straight to perfumes and colognes. The perfume and amp. Cologne confiscation. Imagine this. You're packing for a special trip. Maybe it's a honeymoon. Maybe it's an important business meeting. You carefully place your favorite perfume or cologne into your bag. A $200 bottle of Chanel, Dior, or Creed. You imagine arriving fresh, confident, making the perfect impression. But then comes airport security. Your bag goes through the scanner. The officer pulls it aside, digs in, and pulls out your perfume. They hold it, your perfume, up, tilt it, glance at the size, and then, without hesitation, they drop it into the bin. No negotiation, no appeal. Just gone. Why? Why? Because TSA and airport security worldwide enforce one of the strictest travel rules ever created. The 4 ounce or 100 milliliter liquid limit. Anything larger, no matter how expensive, is automatically flagged. And unlike laptops, powders, there's almost no chance of getting it back once it's taken. Perfumes, colognes, aftershaves, they're all liquids, and agents don't care if it's half empty. Even if you plead, if that container is bigger than the rule allows, it's confiscated, period. And it happens every single day. Travelers lose not just money, but sentimental items, gifts from loved ones, limited editions, fragrances that can't be replaced. The worst part, most people don't even realize they're breaking the rule. They assume, it's fine, I'll just carry it through, until it's too late. So what's the fix? 2 simple options. First, use a travel atomizer, a small refillable spray bottle that holds just a few milliliters of liquid. You can fill it at home from your main bottle and safely carry it on board. Second, Buy official travel size versions. Many high-end brands sell 10 ml to 30 ml bottles, specifically for travelers. They're stylish, legal, and stress-free. Because here's the truth. Nothing kills the excitement of a trip faster than watching an officer toss your favorite scent into the trash. And if perfumes can disappear that easily, just wait until you see what happens when your suitcase itself is the problem. The Smart Luggage Battery Ban. You're at the check-in counter with your sleek, futuristic smart suitcase. Built-in charger, tracking GPS, even a digital lock. It's supposed to make travel easier. But the agent takes one look at the bag and how relevant bag? Asks the dreaded question. Can you remove the battery? Your heart sinks. The battery is sealed inside. You shake your head, and just like that, you're told you can't check the bag. In fact, you may not be able to take it on the plane at all. Why does this happen? It all comes down to lithium-ion batteries. Airlines and regulators have drawn a hard line. Any battery larger than 100 watt-hours must be removable to fly safely. Why? Because these batteries can overheat and even catch fire when stored in a cargo hold. A tiny spark in the wrong place could endanger an entire flight. To protect passengers, airlines have banned smart luggage unless the power bank or battery can be detached and carried separately. And here's where travelers get blindsided. Many first-generation smart suitcases were designed with permanently sealed batteries. Stylish? Yes. Practical? No. Owners find themselves stuck at the airport, forced to abandon a $300 suitcase or miss their flight altogether. The fix: always check before you travel. Look for the watt-hour rating. Under 100, is safe. Make sure your battery is removable without tools, or at least with a small screwdriver, and keep it in your carry-on, never in checked luggage. If you lover in checked luggage. Your smart suitcase, treat the battery like a separate device, because the truth is, it's not just about the suitcase, it's about every portable charger you carry. And even if your smart bag is allowed, your favorite power bank could still get flagged at the gate. The 100W power bank rule. Picture this. You're settling into a long-haul flight, 10 hours across the ocean. You reach into your bag for your massive 30,000 mAh power bank, proud of yourself for being prepared. No dead phone, laptop, unlimited entertainment. But just before boarding, security pulls you aside. They inspect the power bank, check the label, and suddenly, it's gone. Confiscated. Your $100 device. Thrown out in seconds. Why? Because of one of the least known but most strictly enforced aviation rules. The 100 watt-hour limit for lithium batteries. In plain English, that means roughly 26,800 mAh. Anything larger is restricted, and in most cases, flat out banned unless you've received explicit airline approval. Even then, some carriers still won't let oversized batteries on board. The reason is safety. High-capacity batteries hold enormous amounts of energy, and if one overheats or shorts out at 35,000 feet, the consequences could be catastrophic. And here's where it hurts travelers most. Those giant bricks advertised as ultimate travel chargers. They're the very devices most likely to be taken away. Imagine losing a $150 power bank right before a long flight. Now your phone dies halfway through the trip. Your laptop is useless, and the movies you downloaded forgot. The fix is simple, but strategic. Instead of one oversized power bank, buy two smaller units under the 100W threshold. Two 20,000 mAh batteries are safer, easier to carry, and still legal in almost every airport worldwide. And always pack them in your carry-on, not your checked bag, because airlines forbid spare lithium batteries in cargo. So remember this, at security your battery isn't just a convenience, it's a potential red flag. And if losing a power bank feels painful, just painful, wait until you see the fines waiting for something as innocent as fruit. The $300 agriculture fine. Imagine landing in Hawaii, ready to start your dream vacation. You step off the plane with your carry-on and your backpack. You breeze through the terminal, excited to feel the ocean breeze. But then, just before you exit, a customs officer with a friendly-looking beagle stops beside you. The dog sniffs your bag, sits down, and the officer smiles, then asks you to step aside. A minute later, you're facing a fine of $300 or more. Why? Because buried in your bag is an apple you forgot to eat, or a piece of fruit you packed. Just in case. It sounds absurd, but it happens every single day. Agricultural inspection is one of the strictest rules at airports in places like Hawaii, California, New Zealand, and Australia. Customs authorities are on high alert to stop invasive pests, diseases, and plants from spreading. Even one piece of undeclared fruit, a small packet of seeds, or homemade jerky can be enough to trigger penalties. The idea isn't to punish travelers, it's to protect fragile ecosystems. But the result is the same. Travelers pay dearly for small mistakes. And it's not just fruit. Honey, spices, cured meats, or even certain plants can all land you in trouble. The officers don't care if it's expensive, organic, or bought from a trusted source. If it's restricted and undeclared, it's a violation. And the fines are steep, $300 for a first offense, and much higher for repeat offenders. So how do you avoid this costly trap? Keep it simple. Never pack fresh produce, plants, or animal products when flying into sensitive destinations. Stick to sealed, processed snacks like granola bars or packaged chips. If you're unsure, always declare it honestly on the customs form. Most of the time, they'll simply take it away without a fine if you declared it. Because when a single apple can cost you $300, it's just not worth the risk. And if food can sabotage your wallet, wait until you see how noise can sabotage your body. Noise-canceling headphone blind spot. Picture yourself on a long-haul flight, 10, maybe 12 hours in economy. The cabin is packed, the air is dry, and you're already feeling restless. Then it hits you. The constant roar of the engines. It's not just background noise. At cruising altitude, the average cabin hum can reach 85 decibels, the same level as standing next to heavy city traffic. Now imagine being trapped in that sound for hours. You don't notice it at first, but slowly it drains you. By the time you land, you're exhausted, irritable, and completely wiped out. This is the hidden cost of flying without proper sound protection. That steady noise doesn't just make it harder to sleep. It actually increases fatigue, stress, and even the risk of long-term hearing damage. Many travelers mistake their jet lag for just being tired, when in reality, their body has been fighting constant noise stress for hours on end. And here's the cruel part. Most of us try to drown it out with cheap earbuds or the airline's flimsy headphones. But those do almost nothing against the deep, low-frequency hum of jet engines. You end up cranking the volume just to hear your movie, pushing more strain onto your ears. The fix is straightforward. Invest in active noise-canceling headphones. Yes, they're pricey, sometimes $200 or more, but they're worth every cent. Not only do they cut down the roar of the engines, they make movies clearer, music richer, and sleep richer, and sleep finally possible. If headphones feel bulky, even high-quality foam earplugs can make a huge difference. Think of it as an investment in your health, not just your comfort, because here's the truth. A well-rested traveler makes smarter choices and enjoys the trip. And if fatigue from noise can quietly drain your energy, wait until you see how airports can loudly drain your money. Starting with currency exchange. The currency exchange ripoff. You've just landed in Europe. The signs are in another language, you're tired from the flight, and all you want is a quick taxi to your hotel. But the driver doesn't take cards, so you rush to the nearest currency exchange desk inside the airport. The clerk smiles, counts out the bills, and in less than 2 minutes, you're walking away with cash in hand. You feel relieved. Until later when you realize you've just lost 10 to 15% of your money. That quick exchange just cost you over $100 on a $1,000 transaction. Why does this happen? Because airport currency desks prey on desperation. They know you're jet-lagged, disoriented, and in a hurry. They advertise no commission signs. But what they don't advertise is the terrible exchange rate they're giving you behind the counter. The margin they build into that rate is how they profit. And it's brutal. In some airports, travelers have reported losing 20% or more on simple conversions. The truth is a trap designed for people who didn't plan ahead. And almost every airport in the world has one waiting. But here's the fix. Don't fall for it. The smartest move is to use a debit card with no foreign transaction fees and simply withdraw local currency from an ATM once you land. The exchange rate is set by global networks like Visa, and it's far closer to the real market rate. Another option, pre-order your currency from your bank before leaving home. Many banks offer competitive rates if you give them a few days' notice. And if you really must exchange cash at the airport, only take the bare minimum, just enough for a taxi or small emergency, because your hard-earned money shouldn't evaporate before your trip even begins. And if currency exchange feels like a scam, wait until you see how even airport lounges, meant to be a luxury, can trick you into overspending. The lounge pass overspend. Picture this. Your flight is delayed by 2 hours. You're standing in a crowded terminal, every seat taken, people camped out on the floor, announcements blaring in the background. Then you see the sign, Airport Lounge. Day pass available. For just $50 or $75. You're promised quiet, free food and comfort. Tired and stressed, you swipe your card and step inside. For a moment, it feels worth it. Softer chairs, a plate of pasta, maybe a free drink. But then, less than an hour later, it's time to board. You spent $75 for what was essentially a quick snack and a chair. This is the trap. Lounges profit massively from day pass buyers who don't calculate the value. On paper, it seems like luxury, but unless you have at least 3 to 4 hours to relax, eat, maybe shower, the math rarely works. Paying $50 for a single plate of average buffet, food and 30 minutes of peace, that's not luxury, that's a ripoff. And here's where it stings even more. Some lounges oversell access. You walk in expecting calm, only to find it packed. Lines for the food, no empty seats, and sometimes even denied entry despite paying. That's money gone with zero comfort gained. So what's the fix? Think long-term. Many premium credit cards include complimentary lounge access, not just for you, but sometimes for a guest. If you travel more than a couple of times a year, that benefit can easily outweigh the annual fee. Another smart move is to use apps like Lounge Buddy to check reviews, peak hours, and whether a lounge is worth your money before you buy a pass. And finally, always ask yourself, how much time will I really spend inside? If the answer is under 2 hours, skip it. Because the truth is, lounges can be a comfort, but only when the value adds up. And if overpriced passes aren't bad enough, the most devastating trap of all comes at the very last minute. The so-called discounted upgrade. The last-minute upgrade scam. It's the final boarding call. You're standing at the gate, tired, maybe a little desperate for extra comfort. That's when the gate agent makes the announcement. We're offering discounted upgrades today. Just $300 for extra legroom or a business class seat. The crowd stirs. Your brain starts doing the math. $300 for more space, more comfort, less misery. It feels like a steal compared to the original $1,200 ticket price you saw online. So, you reach for your wallet because not all upgrades are created equal. Many of these so-called discounts aren't real upgrades at all. Economy Plus or Premium Economy often comes with just a few extra inches of legroom and maybe a slightly better meal. No lie flat seat, no lounge access, no priority service. You've essentially paid hundreds of dollars for what amounts to a slightly wider chair. Airlines use timing and fatigue against you. They wait until you're stressed and exhausted, then dangle the stressed promise of comfort right when you're most vulnerable. And it works. Travelers pay impulsively, thinking they've scored a deal. But in reality, that $300 could have covered your hotel for a night, or even half the cost of a future trip. Worse still, some airlines advertise business class upgrades that are nothing more than mislabeled premium seats, leaving travelers disappointed once they board. So how do you beat this trap? Research before you fly. Check your airline seat maps and upgrade policies ahead of time. Use websites like Seat Guru to know exactly what you're buying. If you want to splurge, compare the cost at booking versus the gate offer. That way, you're making a rational decision, not an emotional one. And remember this golden rule. If you wouldn't pay full price for it ahead of time, don't let fatigue trick you into paying for it at the gate. Because while an upgrade might look like a luxury, it often hides one last painful truth. It's the most expensive seat you never needed. And there you have it. 10 airport mistakes that quietly drain travelers of hundreds of dollars every single day. From overweight carry-ons to oversized perfumes. From hidden battery bans to overpriced upgrades. The traps are everywhere. Airports up. And airlines rely on travelers being distracted, tired, and unprepared. But not you, not anymore. Now, you know the rules. You know the hidden fees. You know the tricks designed to catch you off guard. And more importantly, you know how to beat them. With just a little preparation, you can save not just $300, but in many cases far more. You can walk through security without fear, pass customs without panic, and board your flight with the quiet confidence of someone who's one step ahead. Think about it. While others are frantically unpacking bags at the gate, you'll glide past, already knowing your carry-on is within the limit. While someone else loses their expensive cologne, you'll be enjoying your travel sizes atomizer. And while the traveler next to you is stuck paying a $75 lounge pass for a stale sandwich, you'll be sitting comfortably with benefits you prepared for in advance. Because travel isn't just about reaching your destination, it's about protecting your time, your comfort, and your money along the way. So if this guide helped you, do me one favor, hit that like button, subscribe for more insider travel tips, and share this video with someone you know who's flying soon. Help them avoid the same expensive mistakes. And I'll leave you with this. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen, flagged, or confiscated at an airport? Drop your story in the comments below. Who knows? It might just appear in the next video. Until then, safe travels and fly smart.